For yourself. I'm Nikki Couglin.
I'm Tim Couglin.
And we are parents of Couglin Couglin, who is 10 years old now. And we have been coming to the Peer Center since he was 6, 5?
4.
4? Really? Okay. So we have been coming to the Peer Center, we'll just say a long time. It's really hard to explain how much the Peer Center has done for us as a family. When we first got our diagnosis, we were completely lost. And we do what everybody does when they get a diagnosis of anything. You Google it, you WebMD it, and you get lost in the millions and millions and millions of threads. And then I remember watching a news segment where they were introducing the Peer Center. It wasn't quite open yet, and I can't tell you the burden that was even lifted just hearing that segment. And I think I called the very next day, and I don't even know if Josh knew the segment had run, because I think we kind of surprised people by calling so early because they weren't quite ready for us. But we were craving help because we had the diagnosis, we didn't know what to do, and we'd exhausted, there's only so many books and websites you can visit.
So having the Peer Center just completely changed my perspective of the diagnosis itself. Yeah, and I think it helped us recognize the gifts that Couglin had, and that he was a special kid, and so that's, I think, was pretty eye-opening, because you see all these kids with autism here that all come from different backgrounds, and they have different abilities, but the care and love they get at the Peer Center is second to none.
Well, and it's such a celebratory place. One of the things you notice when you come here with your child is they definitely focus on the strengths that child brings to the table, the gifts that child already has. And that is so important, because as parents, oftentimes with any kid, you focus on what needs to be done and the work that needs to be done, and not what they already have and those gifts they already possess. And I feel like they really, really appreciated Couglin's unique gifts every time we came through the door, and started with those gifts and built on those gifts.
I think when we started here, Couglin's issues were pretty profound.
So when we first came, Couglin was very inside himself. Spent most of his time alone. Seemed fairly oblivious to what was going on. When we started, he was in preschool, and his preschool teachers would notice he would play by himself, wouldn't interact. Sometimes it almost looked like he was trying, but he would play around other kids. Remember? The other kids would be playing, and he'd take his toys and he'd be behind them, but never interacted. And that was kind of our starting point at the Peer Center. Where we are at today is the complete opposite. He's outgoing, he's got friends, he does sleepovers, he does birthday parties, he enjoys going out. He's got 3 sisters who play sports, and he loves to now go to the events and be in loud, noisy gyms and run around with the little brothers, which we were never sure was going to be possible.
But I think ultimately Couglin knew that the people here cared about him and loved him, and that's why he was able to kind of come into his own. I mean, I think that's really what the Peer Center does. It helps kids become the people that are kind of hidden inside the layers of autism. And as good as that's going to be, that's what they made Couglin. And so I think we talk about it. We talk about it all the time. We talk about the Peer Center. We talk about how things have changed for the better. And without the Peer Center, I really don't know where Couglin would be today, and I don't know where our family would be. Because it's amazing to see the growth that the Peer Center instilled in Couglin.